Hello and welcome to Kids Club from
The Curate's Study.
I'm Sam Kerslake and this is
Reverend Mark. It's great to have you here again today. Sam, what's going to happen today?
Today we're going to have a Bible reading, then we have a little bit of craft, and then we're going to have our prayer.
That's it. Well, it's particularly good to have you today here with us because today is a really special day. This week in church, on Sunday this week, we would normally be celebrating something that requires these. Do you know what this is? It's a candle, isn't it? Now, we have lots of different candles in church, but this is a particularly special sort of candle which we don't normally have in church, but you may have seen around because this is the sort of candle you would find on a birthday cake. You see, this Sunday is when the church celebrates what is called Pentecost. And that means it is the birthday of the church because almost 2,000 years ago an event happened which was the start of the church as we know it now. Obviously it's changed in lots of different ways, but around 2,000 years ago the Holy Spirit, sent by Jesus after he had gone back to heaven, came down to the disciples who were locked in a room waiting for something to happen. And that Spirit inspired them so much that they started to preach and to teach and to speak of Jesus to people in the place that they lived. And that was the beginning of the church. So this week the church is around 1,990 years old, give or take a bit. That's pretty old, isn't it? And so today we celebrate the church's birthday. Happy birthday, church. And Sammy now is going to hang on a second. No, I've got a nasty feeling it's that man again who always interrupts us.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Justin.
Justin who?
Just in time for dinner.
It is just in time for dinner actually as well, so he's about right today. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Sam is now going to read our Bible story for us.
The Helper arrives. Jesus told his friends to wait in Jerusalem, to wait for the Helper he promised to send them. So they waited. They waited and they prayed for 10 days. And while they waited, the streets of Jerusalem filled up with people from every land. People from the north and from the south. People from the east and people from the west. People from all around the world who came together to celebrate the Feast of Pentecost. Jesus' friends were in the upstairs room when suddenly some surprising things happened. They heard the wind blow, harder than the fiercest storm, but nothing was blown about. They heard the flickering of candles, and they watched tongues of the fire lick and lap and land on their heads. But nobody smelled smoke. And then the Helper came, the Holy Spirit, and he filled them all with the presence and power of God. And what they heard next was talking, strange words pouring out of each and every mouth. So they rushed outside, eager to tell the crowd what had happened. And now, suddenly, everyone could understand. People from the north and people from the south. People from the east and from the west. People from all around the world. For now, Jesus' friends were able to speak in foreign languages and that they had never heard. All because of God's Holy Spirit. What was better way to tell the world about Jesus? So that's what it's all about, said a man from Spain. That's amazing, said a woman from Africa. Tell me again, asked a man from France. But there were always others who thought Jesus' friends were talking nonsense. These people are drunk, one man shouted. It is nothing but a load of gibberish. And that's when Peter stood up. Peter, who had been with Jesus from the start. Peter, the fisherman. Peter, who had never made a speech in his life. Listen, everybody, he shouted. We are not filled with wine. We are filled with something else. God's own Holy Spirit. Many years ago, a prophet said that this would happen, that God would send his Spirit to help not just special people like the prophets and kings, but everyone. That has happened today to us. And has happened because Jesus, who died on a cross, was brought back to life by God himself, and now sits beside God in heaven. It was Jesus who sent this wonderful gift to us. Jesus, the special one we've been waiting for all these years. Jesus, who was put to death by you. The people were sorry for what they'd done to Jesus. What can we do? They cried. Tell God you're sorry, Peter said. Let him wash away all the bad things you have done, and you will receive his Holy Spirit too. So that's what the people did. 3,000 of them. They told God they were sorry. They were baptized, and they were filled with God's Holy Spirit. People from the north and from the south. People from the east and from the west. People from all around the world.
Wow, what an amazing story. And what's more amazing is that's the same Holy Spirit that can live in you and I today. We've just got to ask for him. Anyway, let's see what Angie is going to help us make with our craft for today.
Hello and welcome again to the Friday Kids Club craft spot. You've just heard in the story today about Pentecost and the Holy Spirit descending on the disciples. So I thought we could make today a headdress to remind us of that happening. So what we have here is some card. You can use a paper plate if you've got some, or some paper and just double it over to make it a bit thicker. So I have cut 2 strips off this piece of card, and I'm going to use some sellotape just to stick these 2 bits together, and then that will make our headdress. And then you can size it to the size of your head to make sure that it fits. Also, I've got some coloured paper, so we're going to make the flames out of. If you don't have coloured paper, that's not a problem. You can always use white paper and then colour it in. So here's my coloured paper, and what I've done for each of the colours, I have cut out flame shapes, which I have here. Okay, so we've got varying different sizes, so you can put them and glue them on top of each other. Oops, like this. So it's quite a simple make. It's cutting and sticking, and then another little flame here. There. So this is the flame, the Holy Spirit coming down onto the heads of the people and the disciples. So what you need to do is stick that on your headdress like that. I've also made some other little side flames, and I've only stuck the base because then if you want you can curl each of these round so they lift off so it looks 3D and it looks like they're moving. There we go. If you're good at drawing, you could draw the apostles with little flames coming out of their heads. Well, what I've done for ease is I have colour copied the picture from the storybook that you heard this morning. And what I thought could be fun, if you didn't want to do the flames, you could draw all of the individual apostles with smiley faces because they're very happy, with all the flames coming out. Now, I had thought if you stick these onto the back, or stick your figures onto the back of the headdress, there, and then when it's on your head you can see the flames and then your apostles at the back. So I hope you've enjoyed that craft, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Well, there we go. I wonder if you'll be wearing your headdresses when you tune in next week. Sammy, do you have a prayer for us?
I do. Learning to pray is learning to see the world as it looks from heaven. It means learning to believe in the power of faith and hope and love, the unfailing love of God. Dear God, thank you for the example of other Christians. From the stories of their faith, may I grow in the understanding from the stories of their kind-hearted deeds. May I learn to do good. Amen.
Amen. Well, it's been lovely to have you here with us in Kids Club again today. We hope you can join us again next week. But until that time comes, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. God bless you all. Goodbye.